Any man who steals billions, millions of state funds to gallivant is a hoodlum. Because the hoodlum in Bere will pickpocket and steal 100 naira. The one in Abuja, in government houses around the country, will use pen and steal billions. They are hoodlums. It is about actions. Hoodlum is a behavior. You have hoodlums in the police force. Some policemen behave like the characters in Bere. They are all hoodlums. So gradually, when the leadership is dominated by characters that behave like hoodlum, society becomes a hoodlum society. So, even the army can be hoodlum. You see, African societies are now becoming hoodlum societies. Even the elites. Have you seen some elites driving on the road? The way they drive, educated people, even when they take one way, that is the character of a hoodlum. So hoodlum has nothing. Sometimes you can have a PhD and be a hoodlum. It's about character. It's about actions. I'm theorizing. You can counter me. I want to learn. So I've come here to learn from you. You can educate me. I'm teachable. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bilo. My name is
Hoodlums. A country where you have hoodlums. Whenever there is protest, the first thing that the police talks about is hoodlums. Hoodlums will hijack it. Begin to know that it's a state of hoodlums. The army comes out. Hey, hoodlums, hoodlums, run. It's a state of hoodlums. When Tinubu is afraid of hoodlums, take note, it is a state of hoodlums. In that case, the character of the leadership is the character of hoodlums. Oh, protest, hoodlums will hijack it. Hoodlums have hijacked power in Nigeria. And the ones they left on the street wants to hijack the properties of the street, and the hoodlums are crying. Did I call anybody a hoodlum? Perhaps I did. You see, the character of the Nigerian leadership is the character of hoodlums. They should accept it. Sometimes when the Senate president speaks, I remember hoodlums. Hoodlum is not about stealing too. It's about how you talk. Because what you say determines your character. Hoodlums. The army talks about hoodlums. When a policeman is on the road and irresponsibly collecting taxes using his gun, that policeman is a hoodlum. And the police is not arresting its own hoodlums. It's more concerned about the hoodlum on the street, a product of the hoodlum of the political leadership. It is the age of hoodlums. So when you see the street, and all the state can say is that those on the streets are hoodlums, that means the children of the lands are becoming hoodlums. If you are a Yahoo boy, you are a hoodlum. If you are involved in exam malpractices, if your mommy gives you the money and your daddy sponsors it, the child and the mommy and the daddy are hoodlums. It's not just the boys on the street. Because different characters of the state can be violent. Sometimes we tend to restrict violence to just gun, stick. The words you say can be violence. Your character can trigger violence. If you beat the traffic light, what you do is that you endanger the man on the other side who has moved because his own light is saying green, and there can be collision. That is violence. In that case, the character of the man who beat the red light is the character of a hoodlum. It is the age of hoodlum. And where hoodlum governs, there's never peace. When hoodlums are in power, boys will become fraudulent. Girls will become hookup girls. It becomes the main trade. The health systems will fail. Education system will fail. Unknown gunmen will kill police, kill soldiers. Soldiers will kill citizens. Boko Haram will thrive. Bandits will collect territories. Herdsmen and farmers will fight. Universities will close down. Students will go to school to learn how to be bad. That is a state where hoodlums are in charge. So if you know a hoodlum, let me know. Go on my page. The character of the leadership in Port Harcourt, championed by Wike, is the character of hoodlums. Let the society know, let the government know that the hoodlums on the street are products of the character of leadership. Hey, don't tell me about hoodlums hijacking protests. The fact that there is a protest is because hoodlums have denied the people the essence, the beauty of democratic life. The dividends of democracy is not trickling down. No food, no water, no electricity, no health care. When you have that as the system, it simply tells you that the men and women in power are hoodlums. We need philosopher kings as leaders, men who can think and lift the people out of poverty. As it stands now, tomorrow it might change. As it stands now, Tinubu is the worst president Nigeria have ever had. As it stands now, things might get better tomorrow. But from the data today, Tinubu is the worst president in the history of Nigeria. Take it or leave it. The poverty in the land has never been this intense. The violence in the land has never been this intense. The voice you heard a female voice talking about the daddy. That voice is the voice of Sholakbe Ademulegun. The Sholakbe story on this edition of State Affairs. Yes, hear Sholakbe speak again. To do what?
Well, of course, my father was his commander. He would come. The army was one big happy family. At least up to that point, before that point. He would come. Sometimes they'd have lunch with us. You know, I remember the dining room. The address was 1 Kashim Ibrahim, Street Road, Crescent in Kaduna. And it was the official quarters. And he was a regular visitor. Whether official or unofficial, he was uncle.
Kaduna Zogu was also a visitor.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
You know, Kaduna was like the epicenter of that coup.
So history says.
Your mom jumped in between the gunmen and your dad.
Yes, she did.
You can still picture her?
Yes, I can. She was in a nightie. She was pregnant. So it was a loose gown. I think pink. And she stood there. Maybe she felt they would show some pity. I'm a woman. They would show some pity. They know me. They've come here. I've probably cooked for them before. Maybe she felt, because I'm pregnant, they would, whatever it was that she felt or was going on in her head, I don't know. But she stood there.
And you didn't feel pity for her?
No, absolutely not.
Did you tell her to give way and she refused?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
You think it was love?
It had to have been love. It had to have been.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
You see,